may have started the career of the year, but it's kind of odd now. Everyone I hear says, get a real job. I feel just like Baby Yoda. Ain't a flex, it's my daily yoga. They said I'd never make it out the grave. Now I'm doing what I love and I'm finally getting paid. Like, I feel just like Baby Yoda. Ain't a flex, it's my daily yoga. They said I'd never make it out the grave. Now I'm doing what I love and I'm finally getting paid. Like, I feel like Baby Yoda. Everything changed when I claimed Jehovah. I ain't got no chains since it came and told me that my name would remain in the book of holies. Some of y'all changed and instead of going, you say you don't know when you're really knowing. Your life looking like another book of Jonah when you won't go once to the place you want. You like, I was a Christ, bowed all down to the light, giving our praise to the race, living our days for the Christ. If you're really wondering why, we all got the vibe. The world might be in darkness, but I got the light. Like, I feel just like Baby Yoda. Ain't a flex, it's my daily yoga. They said I'd never make it out the grave. Now I'm doing what I love and I'm finally getting paid. Like, I feel just like Baby Yoda. Ain't a flex, it's my daily yoga. They said I'd never make it out the grave. Now I'm doing what I love and I'm finally getting paid. Like, when I was little, I wish I would grow up into a missile and then I would blow up. Newsflash, be grown up, but don't act like grown-ups. I got the light on my side, about to glow up. Hit you with the
I gotta be ready because I'll never do it if I'm not. What's up, HCU? So glad that you guys are here. Make sure that you are joining the live chat and having fun just talking about whatever's going on in the video, and make sure you like and subscribe and share with all of your friends all that we're doing at HCU. Thanks again so much for being here.
Hey, so one thing Julio Sanchez has been doing during quarantine, being locked up for so long, is going outside, having fun, and enjoying the outdoors. Let's go right now.
I don't think for anybody's sanity they want to do. Sit down, man.
Who's good?
That's not a good thing.
So I just got back from a very long shift at Culver's. Let's see what Tegan thinks. All right. She thinks, alright, anyways, so she thinks that's irrelevant, but it's fine. I'm about to watch some Criminal Minds. What are y'all doing?
Hey guys, so lately I've been super bored, but to pass some time, I've just been reading and watching Netflix and Disney Plus. Right now I'm watching Parent Trap, Lindsay Lohan version, so yeah.
Cassidy, look. Turn your head sideways.
An 8-year-old Welsh Corgi. We love corgis. Remember, you're just a black corgi. Are you listening? Pay attention to me! Stop chewing and killing everything.
Hi, I'm Sammy, and I'm in the middle of making coffee. And so I'm going to tell you what I've been doing in quarantine while I make coffee. So quarantine, we have to stay at home, so there's really nothing to do. So I've really just been eating everything. By everything, watermelon, cheese, chips. That smells good. Literally just everything. Why? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just hungrier in quarantine. It's nice talking to you, HCU.
When quarantine first started, at first I thought that everything was going to be kind of okay and normal, but about 6 hours into it, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to handle not seeing my friend Raul. So I put this VR headset on, and since then it's been great. In here I have my own Raul that I can play games with and hang out with, and I don't have to be alone anymore, and now I can be with Raul whenever I want, and I haven't taken this headset off yet, and I might never go back.
Hi, I'm Lily, and today I'm going to go interview some of my animals and see what they do during quarantine. Next is Gruff. So what are you doing during this quarantine?
Come here, I wanna headbutt you.
Thank you.
And now it's time for State of the Youth with your host, Julio Sanchez.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the State of the Youth with me, your host, Julio Sanchez. I had a lot of fun last week reviewing those Netflix shows with you guys. And I know some of you guys were saying that I reviewed, Disney Plus shows and Disney Plus movies, but I don't care because this is my show and you can't tell me what to do. So on today's episode of State of the Youth, I'm actually gonna be reviewing fast food restaurants because your boy likes to eat.
Okay. On God, okay.
So I'm gonna get into reviewing those restaurants here really quick, but while I'm doing them, I want you guys in the live chat to review them with me. So if you think they're amazing, best restaurant, top of your list, give it a 10. If you think it's absolute trash, give it a big old fat 0. Let's get into it. All right, so first off on this list of fast food restaurants I'm reviewing is gonna be the classic, the Golden Arches, McDonald's. And the only reason why this is first on the list is because my reaction every single time I pull up in the drive-thru is this. If you are not ordering the number 10 every single time you go to McDonald's, what is wrong with you? Those nuggets are not that great, but they're classic. You get the sauce, you get the nuggets, you get the fries. Now to be honest, those nuggets, they're not that great. They're like a 6 out of 10. So this restaurant's getting a 6 out of 10. So McDonald's is getting a 6 out of 10. Not that great, not that good. It's kind of average at this point. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so next up is Taco Bell. Before I get started with this, I need to tell you something. Let me preface this. Taco Bell is like sin. It might sound good while you're doing it. It might taste good. It might feel good. But as soon as you're done, you regret it. After you're done eating Taco Bell, your bathroom is gonna sound like World War III. Hit it. Even though it makes you go to war in your bathroom after you're done eating it, Taco Bell is a classic. They're open till like 3 in the morning. You can get your cheese quesadilla whenever you need it. And they also got
Baja Blast.
Taco Bell with the Baja Blast. My boys wildin', man, we drive real fast.
For being open so late, for having Baja Blast, for having the burritos there, and for making you suffer after, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Man, Taco Bell is a classic. Don't tell my dad or he'll disown me. Alright, so before I get into the very last restaurant I'm reviewing today on State of the Youth, I just want to take a moment, Julio Sanchez, just stop for a second and let you guys know something. I heard your concerns about last week's video, how I said it was a Netflix review show, and I started talking about Disney Plus shows and Disney Plus movies. So this week, I've kept it strictly to fast food restaurants. But I want to let you guys know something, that there's a difference between fast food restaurants and fast casual. And I did not bring up fast casual restaurants. An example of those would be Qdoba and Chipotle. Now, fast food definition versus fast casual is this. Hope you caught that, but here's the thing. I'm not going to review Chipotle and Qdoba because those are fast casual. But if I was going to, which I'm not because this is fast food only, but if I was, hypothetically, theoretically, but I'm not going to because this is fast food only, but if I were to, Chipotle is absolute trash. It's 0 out of 10, and Qdoba is way better than Chipotle. But I would never say that because this is fast food only, and those are fast casual. So let's get on to the very last restaurant. All right, so the very last restaurant is near and dear to our hearts. It's Wendy's. Y'all already know, we be rolling up after Wednesday night sometimes. RIP going out in real life because we can't do that anymore. Get our Frosties, hanging out with the squads. What is a Frosty? Is it ice cream or a smoothie?
What?
Ice cream or a smoothie?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All right, so right now in the chat, let us know right now which is better, a chocolate Frosty or a vanilla Frosty? And do you get a fry and dip that bad boy in your Frosty? For that reason alone, dipping our fries into a Frosty, on State of the Youth, we're gonna give Wendy's an 8 out of 10. That's right, 8 out of 10. I mean, come on, you got the Frosty with the fries, you got the banging 4 for $4 meal you can get when you're broke just like me. Hey, thanks so much for watching this week's episode of State of the Youth Fast Food Review Shows with me, Julio Sanchez. Let's get on with the rest of the video. Peace.
Welcome. We're so glad that you guys have joined us. We're going to sing a few songs. You could sing along, and the words will be on the screen.
You call me out of the blue, you call me into the light, you called my name and then my heart came alive. Your love is greater, your love is stronger, your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Your love is greater, your love is stronger, your love awakens, Sing, I count on one thing. I count on one thing. The same God that never fails will not fail me now, and you won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy and all my days. Oh yes, I will. Yes, I will. I count on one thing. The same God that never fails will not fail me now, and you won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out, working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy. Oh my days. Oh yes, I will. Oh my days. Oh yes, I will. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of our name. Nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of our name. Come on, nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of our names. Nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of our names. Nothing can stand against. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy. Oh my days. Oh yes, I will. Oh my days. Oh yes, I will. Oh my days. Oh yes, I will. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for being everything that we could ever need, God. We lift your name high in this place tonight, and we just pray that you would be with us for the rest of this service. Just be in our hearts and help us to know more of you tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
So, when you don't know how to do something, how to fix something, or how something works, what do? Ask a teacher? Ask your parents? Ask your friends? Ask someone you really know and trust? No! You go to the internet and ask some randos. But I'm not talking about creeps here, I hope. No, I mean the people of the internet! You know, those people who make how-to videos. Because chances are, if you're trying to figure out something, someone on the internet has already figured it out for you. Things like, how do I unsend a text? No. How do I do a winged eyeliner? How do I get rid of the zit by Friday night? How do I get out of gym class? How do I screen cap Snapchat without getting caught? You'll never know. But then there are things in life that don't have an easy fix, that don't have a simple solution, that don't have a how-to video. Things like what to do when you have problems with family, or when it seems like you have no control in your life, or what to do when someone has done something to you. I mean, clearly, they gotta go. The truth is, there's a lot of life that doesn't have a solution you can just find online. So how do you know what to do when you don't know what to do?
What is up, HC Youth? Welcome to Virtual HC Youth. So glad you guys are joining us, watching from wherever you're at. Man, hope that you guys have been able to have a great week, enjoy this awesome weather we've had. And man, I want to tell you guys, so when I was growing up, I had this game. My family had this game actually. And I would play with it all the time, but I have no idea how to actually play it. It's a board game called Mousetrap. And like I said, I have no idea how the game actually works, but I do know that somehow you put together this contraption, because that's all I ever did was build this contraption, you send this marble down it, and somehow it would like go through all these different things, make a basket drop, and catch a mouse. If you've never seen it, I'd say check it out. I don't know if the game's actually fun, but I know it's fun to watch the thing go down. But then I got on TikTok and I found out people make these things in real life. They're called like Rube Goldberg machines, I think. Sounds right, Google it maybe. Or we can put in post the right correction. Raul's got me.
Rube Goldberg.
But right, they're this cool thing where all of a sudden it'll kind of, all these seemingly random things kind of work together to pull something off, to make something happen. And it's so fun to watch. I think it's so satisfying to just watch everything line up just right to make this. It's generally something kind of funny, but it all works together to make something happen. I've seen people raise a flag, I've seen people feed a dog, but it's just all these things put together. And it's so satisfying to watch it all come together. And I think the same thing that makes those so satisfying to me to watch are the same things that makes life so frustrating sometimes. Because when we get to watch this machine, we get to see the big picture of how it all works together. But when we're in life, we don't get to see the machine. Our life is the machine. We're just like the marble or the domino, whatever it is that's kind of going. Right? We are just kind of taken sometimes from turn to turn, random thing after random things, up and downs, highs and lows. And we don't always see the next thing coming. We don't always know what's going to happen next. And we get caught off guard. We get surprised. Right? Things keep happening in our lives. And man, we're in this series right now called What to Do When We Don't Know What to Do. And I feel like that is why this is such an important series, because as we're going through and all these things keep happening in our life, sometimes we can start to feel like, what is coming up next? How am I supposed to prepare for this? How am I supposed to respond to this? And maybe you've been in a position before where it just feels like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing keeps popping up. And you've gotten to that point where you're just like, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I don't know how many more surprises or bad things I can take in my life. And if you've been following along with us, we've been looking at the story of this guy named Joseph. And I don't know about you, but at some point that would have been me. I don't know if I could have handled his story. Looking at it from the big picture view and knowing what we know, it makes it a little bit easier to read if you know the story of Joseph. But man, going from his position, he started as the favorite son at home, then all of a sudden he's sold into slavery. He's brought far from home to Egypt. He's a slave in a house, and he works his way up. And then as he gets back to a good position within his slave position there, the wife of his master lies about him and has him imprisoned. Right? It's just like, boom, bad thing. And then, man, you thought it was bad to be in slavery in a foreign land? Well, guess what? Now you're in prison in a foreign land. But again, in Genesis 39:21, it says that the Lord was with Joseph in the prison and showed him his faithful love. And the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. And before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners and over everything that happened in the prison. Right? Again, God is faithful to Joseph, but Joseph just experiences turn after turn, unsuspected thing after unsuspected thing, bad thing after bad thing, right? I don't know about you, but if I was Joseph, I would be very discouraged. I would feel very beat down. I would feel kind of unsure of if there's really hope here. Right, because he's second in charge, and that's pretty cool. He's in charge of the whole prison, but he's still a prisoner in this prison in a foreign land far from home. I would way rather still be the favorite son back home enjoying all the benefits of that. But until here, this is where Joseph is. But then there's this opportunity that comes up for him. And the Bible tells us sometime later, Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and chief baker offended their royal master. Pharaoh became angry with these two officials, and he put them in the prison where Joseph was, in the palace of the captain of the guard. They remained in prison for quite some time, and the captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, who looked after them. And it says, while they were in prison, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker each had a dream one night, and each dream had its own meaning. When Joseph saw them the next morning, he noticed that they both looked upset. "Why do you look so worried today?" he asked them. And they replied, "We both had dreams last night, but no one can tell us what they mean." "Interpreting dreams is God's business," Joseph replied. "Go ahead and tell me your dreams." So just to catch you up real quick, Joseph is in this position in the prison where he kind of looks over the other prisoners, and the Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and chief baker are thrown into prison, and they have dreams, and they come to Joseph with them. And Joseph is able to interpret dreams. God has given him that ability, and he gives the glory to God, right? He says God can interpret dreams. I think it's so crazy that even in the middle of all of this, even as he's far from home, he's still trusting and believing in God. And so he says, "Go ahead, tell me your dreams." And they both tell him their dreams, and he interprets them. And he's to the cupbearer, here's what he says. "This is what the dream means," Joseph said. "The 3 branches represent 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift you up and restore you to your position as chief cupbearer. And please remember me and do me a favor when things go well for you. Mention me to Pharaoh so he might let me out of this place. For I was kidnapped from my homeland, the land of the Hebrews, and now I'm here in prison, but I did nothing to deserve it." Joseph interprets this dream and he says, "Look, I do not belong here. I was wrongfully in prison, wrongfully enslaved. I don't deserve to be here." And he all of a sudden has this opportunity where this person who should be in his good graces, because Joseph was able to interpret his dream, in 3 days is about to be returned to the royal courts. And Joseph all of a sudden can just see how God's plan is lining up. I don't know if you've ever been there before, where you're like, oh my gosh, if God makes this thing happen, this is it. You can just imagine how God could bless you. Imagine how God could get you out of your current situation, right? Maybe you're like, I can't take any more, but this is the way out. God, please make this happen. I don't know if you've ever prayed for something to happen so bad. You're like, I need this to work. Joseph's pleading his case, and he's got these 3 days that he's saying, 3 days you're gonna go back. And so for him, all this time far from home, all this time going through this, maybe he's thinking to himself, in 3 days, maybe God's gonna turn this around for me. 3 days, I can wait 3 days. It says Pharaoh's birthday came 3 days later, and he prepared a banquet for all his officials and staff. He summoned his chief cupbearer and chief baker to join the officials. He then restored the chief cupbearer to his former position so he could again hand Pharaoh his cup. The chief baker did not work out as well. It says, but Pharaoh impaled the chief baker, just as Joseph had predicted when he interpreted his dream. Didn't work out so good for him. Pharaoh's chief cupbearer, however, forgot all about Joseph, never giving him another thought. For 2 full years, Joseph sat in prison, dejected, forgotten. That thing that he had prayed for, it didn't happen. I don't know if you've been there before, if you're just like, I can't take any more of this. But for 2 years, Joseph sat there. And then Pharaoh had this dream, and the cupbearer remembered Joseph. And Joseph was able to be brought out of prison, and he interpreted the dream for Pharaoh. And the dream indicated there was going to be a famine coming, and they were able to prepare for that famine and have food for people during it because of Joseph interpreting that dream. And because of Joseph interpreting that dream, Pharaoh brought him out of prison and put him second in charge of all of Egypt. He gave him authority, he gave him power, and they were able to provide food for all of Egypt, but also for people from Joseph's homeland, also for Joseph's family. All of these seemingly unrelated events, all of these things that were thrown at Joseph, God were using them to prepare him and position him to do something great that only he could do. And we gotta get to see the whole picture come together here. But as Joseph was going through it, he couldn't see the whole picture. And even as Joseph was going through it, we gotta ask ourselves, does this really make it all better? Right? He's now second in command of all Egypt for a guy that we know, if he gets mad at him, can have him impaled, just like he did to the baker. Right? So he's in this position, but it's still not like everything's great. And I want you to catch this, HC Youth. Just because God did something here doesn't make all those other things okay. It doesn't make them good, right? Those things that happened in Joseph's life were the result of sin, right? He was sold into slavery. That was a sinful thing. He was thrown into prison on a lie. That was a sinful thing by Potiphar's wife, right? These were bad things. But just because they were bad things, just because they were a result of sins, doesn't mean God wasn't able to use them to position and prepare Joseph to do something great. Right? When we see the whole picture, we can see that God was working in that. We can see that God was faithful, and Joseph kept his faith and his trust in God through the whole thing. In 1 Corinthians 13, we call it the love chapter. If you've been at a wedding, you've probably heard it. Love is patient, love is kind. But Paul is not setting this passage up. When we read this is from Paul. He doesn't set this up for weddings. He actually sets this up in chapter 12, right before he gets into this love chapter 13. He says, let me show you a way of life that is best of all. And then he goes on and he tells us all about love and how we can live in love. He's saying that love is the best way to live. Love is the thing that guides us. And at the end of this chapter, he wraps it up in a really interesting way. In verse 12, he says, "Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror, but then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely." Paul is saying God sees the big picture that I don't. We are painfully aware that we don't see the big picture as we're going through, right? Joseph thought he saw the big picture when it came to that cupbearer, but he was wrong, right? He had an incomplete picture of what God was going to do and how God was going to redeem that, right? But just because we don't have the full picture doesn't mean that God doesn't. And so Paul's encouraging us, because we don't see the full picture, because we don't know how all these twists and turns are going to work together, instead of giving up, instead of saying I can't take anymore, we need to have faith and we need to operate out of a position of love. The two greatest commands in the Bible are to love God and to love others. And when we don't know what to do, that's what we fall back to. And so H-Youth, I got two challenges for you as we wrap up tonight. And the first one is this: when you don't know what to do, we need to focus on shifting our perspective. So often our perspective is on what's right in front of us, the unfairness of it, how we can't take anymore. But we have a God that sees the full picture we don't see. So rather than focusing on the incomplete view we have, we want to focus on the God who has a complete view. Right? Like I said, the first greatest commandment is to love God, and that is one of the things that we want to anchor ourselves in. And one of the ways that we show that we love God, our love to Him, is by having faith and trust in Him as things come up. Right? In the beginning of this book, 1 Corinthians, that I just read to you from, in 1 Corinthians 2:9, Paul reminds the people of Corinth, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him." Right? The God who sees the complete picture of your life has something prepared you couldn't even imagine. And so when we don't know what to do, we want to shift our perspective from focusing on our situation to focusing on Him. We want to love God. And like I said, the second most important commandment is to love others. In Joseph's life, we see that along the way, he always found favor with God and favor with the people he was with as he served. Right? He could have been an awful slave and probably had a bad time of it, but he showed love to his master, who, let's be real, again, we don't condone slavery, but in that position, he showed love and he showed authority, he showed respect, and it moved him up to a position of authority. In prison, the same thing happened. With Pharaoh, the same thing happened. And in that position where he's second in command, he is second in command because of the way he was able to provide for the people of Egypt food in the face of a coming famine. He could have heard Pharaoh's argument, been mad at this person, been mad at these people, been dejected to the world and said, I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to tell them that what's coming. Like, what's going to change anyways? But instead, he chose to show love to others by helping prepare all of Egypt and all of the region for this coming famine. Right? God positioned him in a way to do something only he could do, and it was for others. So I want to challenge you, H-Youth, how has God positioned you to help others? In the middle of whatever's happening in your life right now, in the middle of whatever turn you're in, God is preparing and positioning you for others. So right now, maybe you don't feel like you're in a place to help, but if you've been through something, you can help someone else through it. If you have that perspective, you can help someone else through it. God is constantly opening up new opportunities for us to show God love to Him and love to others. And Paul says that is the best way for us to live. That is the way Joseph lived, and that's why Joseph was able to bless others, right? It doesn't make all these things that happen to us okay. It doesn't make it all better, but we believe in a God who is able to bring purpose and meaning and good out of dark and bad things. But it comes from us having love for Him and love for others. I think that's where we find it. So HC Youth, I want to challenge you. Shift your perspective when you don't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, look for ways to help others, to be there for others, to use what you've gone through to be there for others, right? I truly believe that it's those two things can make such a big impact on us when we're in those moments. We just don't know what to do. Can I pray for you? So God, we thank you so much for who you are and what you've done, God, and how you work in our lives. God, how you pull together these things that were meant for bad, God, for your good. So Lord, help us just to believe that, God. Help us to remember that we don't see the whole picture, God, that you do. God, help us to rest in that. Help us to find peace and hope in that. God, help us to shift our perspective to focusing on you. And God, help us to shift our focus to how we can help others in the middle of wherever we are, God, because we believe you are positioning and preparing each of us to do something that you've laid out for us, God. So help us, be with us, God. Give us that comfort tonight, Lord. We love you. Pray this in Jesus' name, amen. Awesome. HU, thank you guys so much for being here. We love you and miss you. And man, are so excited to see you guys in groups tonight. If you need help getting signed up, let us know in the chat. Shoot us a message. We cannot wait to see you guys soon.
Man, thank you so much, Pastor Stephen, for that incredible message. And thank you guys so much for being here. Let me see in that live chat if you appreciated that message of knowing that our love for God can surpass any season of life we're in. Such a good reminder. And knowing that He has a plan for us that's going to be amazing. Before we go to groups here in a couple of seconds, I want to let you know something. I still want to see this channel get to 200 subscribers. And not just because my hair is going to be blonde or because we want to blow up or be a big channel. Because we want other people to experience the love of God, to connect with us and be a part of something amazing, because we believe here at HCU that we are better together. So thank you so much for watching. Have fun in virtual groups. We'll see you next week.
Taco Bell with the Baja Blast. My boys wildin', man, we drive real fast. Some people, they can hurt you deep inside. Taco Bell never does. Oh wait, it can sometimes, but in a different way. At least they're here to stay. The cheesy goodness is so tasty, never fades away. I'm blocking out the haters, all they tell is lies. Pull up to the drive-thru, get a crunch up with nacho fries.
Friday night with the boys, playing Xbox, making noise. Dang, I'm hungry, where's my mama? Wait, she can't cook in pajamas. Check the time, it's 2:08. What stores are open this late? Taco Bell right down the street. Let's go get a bite to eat. Pull up in the drive-thru, what we gonna get the crew? I know you already knew. Burrito, nachos, taco or two. Everything just looks so great. Birthday party, celebrate. What a nice place for a date. I'm just kidding, please don't hate. Can we get 6 quesadillas, lettuce, cheese, no tomatoes, 10 soft tacos, 4 burritos, 8 chalupas, dozen churros, salads, I with nacho fries, 2 more empanada pies, want some tasty Cindy twist, and 3 bottles Sierra Mist.
Taco Bell with the Baja Blast. My boys wildin', man, we drive real fast. Some people, they can hurt you deep inside. Taco Bell never does. Oh wait, it can sometimes, but in a different way. At least they're here to stay. The cheesy goodness is so tasty, never fades away. I'm blocking out the haters, all they tell is lies. Pull up to the drive-thru, get a crunch up with nacho fries.
It's YouTube.
Baja Blast.